In this tutorial, we're going to be looking at techniques that can be applied or that need to be considered when you're cutting together a chase sequence. Now, by and large, the aim of most chase sequences is to generate a sense of suspense for the audience. They will be wondering, is the person being chased going to escape? Or is the person being chased going to get caught? How do we make the audience feel the person's getting away? And how do we make the audience feel the person may be being caught up on? Well, here's some techniques that you can use that can help. These techniques will involve using in and out points, and they should work on pretty much any software that you're using. I'm using Premiere Pro, but they'll work equally well on Avid or Final Cut Pro. The first thing you want to consider really is how far apart the two characters are at the opening stages. So let's have a look at our source footage. We've got a chap who exits this point here. I'm going to mark an in point, and then we're going to go forward and we're going to look at the point where the person chasing him passes the same point we saw earlier. We're going to mark an out point. If we look down here at our in and out point duration, we can see that the two men are about 5 seconds apart. There's 5 seconds between them. The audience will have seen this in this opening initial clip, and we need to bear that in mind as we start cutting the footage together. The audience would have felt that gap of 5 seconds. So as an editor, the job that you've now got is to actually visually make the audience feel that this guy's getting away or this guy is catching up with him. So let's look at the first example that I've put together. In this example, we've got the bald guy here gaining on this guy. So let's have a look what we've got first of all. We've got that 5 second gap that we know about. But just to check that I've done the edit correctly, we can start to use in and out points in the timeline to see what kind of a job I've done and whether the audience will get the sense that this guy is being gained on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for another geographical point, and I'm going to go for the entrance to the carriageway here. Mark an in point on the timeline. Go forward. And then I'm going to mark an out point when the bald guy crosses the same area, like so. My in and out points tell me that the gap is now 4 seconds, so this guy is catching up pretty quickly. Let's see if we can find another geographical point and check whether that gap is being closed. So let's go for this sort of bar area here. Let's go forward a little bit, just make sure the guy is passing it. Let's go for this bar area. So this guy in the suit, he's going to pass that bar area. Let's mark an in point. Let's go along and find also where the bald guy passes that bar area. And if I've done my cutting correctly, hopefully the gap between them should be even shorter. Let's mark an out point. Yeah, pretty successful, 3 seconds. So, just to recap, we had a 5 second gap here. When we crossed the threshold, the gap was now 4 seconds. And then when we use the bar area here as a geographical point, the gap was 3 seconds. The audience won't particularly know you've done this, but they will feel the sense that this bald guy is catching up on him. Alternatively, you can actually reverse that process. In this example I've got here, I've actually done quite a different edit, and I've made it feel that this guy is really getting away from this guy who's chasing him. So let's look at some of the points I made here. Let's go for the entrance here. Let's go for that point as well. Let's just check on the timeline. Let's mark an in point there. And let's also find the equivalent place where the bald guy crosses that threshold. Let's mark an out point. Now it's grown already, so it's 5 seconds here, and I've grown it to 6 seconds here. Let's now pick another point and see how far they may be getting away from each other. So let's go for this sort of doorway to the carriages here. So the guy being chased, let's mark an in point there. And let's look for the equivalent place where the bald guy passes that area. Mark an out point. It's grown even further. So there's now 7-second gap. Let's just check another one. Let's see how I'm getting on. Let's go for this bar area here. Mark an in point. And let's find also, I've added a bit of handheld there. Let's now see where the ball guy passes that area. Let's have a look. Let's go forward a bit more. Mark an out point. Great, 8 seconds. So as I progressed it, the gap was 6 seconds, 7 seconds. Then the gap between the two people here is now up to 8 seconds. And the audience won't know the manipulations that you've done, but they will get the sense that this guy is getting further and further away.